new Star Trek movie and the Warner Brothers bid. Warner Brothers is being sold off, and Netflix, Comcast, and Paramount are putting bids for it. Paramount shouldn't be buying anything. Paramount should be building the franchises they already have. Star Trek is their biggest franchise. It's a movie and a show franchise. And the Picard series first premiered on Prime Video. Just to give you an idea, Picard sold Amazon's Prime Video when it first aired, right? And so they did the first two seasons, and then Paramount Plus was created, and Paramount Plus made a Picard season 3 with the original Next Generation cast and everything. And I thought that Picard season 3 was really something special. And rewatching the Picard show, I thought the Picard show was better thought out than the Next Generation series. You know, as time has gone on, I find myself rewatching the original series, Enterprise, and Voyager, right? I find myself rewatching those Star Trek shows over Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Alright? I don't really I like Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, but Voyager, Enterprise, and the original series, and Star Trek the animated series, and Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, to me, I like, and Picard I like more than Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Okay? And I was hoping we were going to get a show after Picard, because Picard was teasing a Star Trek Legacy show. Most of Paramount Plus's subscribers, okay, subscribed because of Star Trek. All right? Star Trek is what really, so I don't understand why the new owners must not understand IP or must not understand how to make money. Because Star Trek used to rule the toy shelves. I remember walking into a J.C. Penney inside of a mall, and by the cashier section, there was a rack of Star Trek figures from Playmates in the 90s. So they used to rule the toy shelves, right? And compete with Star Wars. And now they don't. There's like no competition. And Star Trek is still a worldwide brand. You know, there's companies that they try to mine IP. So if you're the owner of Paramount, right? You have Elon Musk talking about Star Trek. Star Trek is a big deal. It not only rules merchandise, but it can rule TV. And it's really been selling their streaming service. So why ignore it? Why put Star Trek in a corner? And why not embrace Star Trek? We got some new Star Trek movie news. They're not gonna they're gonna get a whole new cast. They got the directors of The Last Dungeon and Dragons. I thought The Last Dungeons and Dragons was unwatchable. I thought that was really bad. So I'm not impressed with the filmmakers they've chosen. And I think they need to keep the cast of the 2009 Star Trek, the Zoe Saldana, Chris Pine, and Zachary Quinto Spock. They need to bring that cast and do another trilogy. because those movies were really great. These last Star Trek movies, Star Trek 2009, Star Trek Into Darkness, Star Trek Beyond was whatever, but they need to continue that because the global audience the global audience recognizes those actors. And whenever you're selling a movie worldwide, you should have a cast that's already known or known actors. And people really want to see that cast. The recent cast of the Star Trek movies do more Star Trek movies. So they should renegotiate the deals with those actors and see if Bad Robot can return and J.J. Abrams can return to give us 3 more of those Star Trek movies. And then in the meantime, Strange New Worlds is great. I love Strange New Worlds. And we should have like 2 more Star Trek shows. We should have Star Trek Legacy. Fans wanted to see a Star Trek Legacy series. And hopefully Starfleet Academy, the new Starfleet Academy series, is going to be worth watching. It's going to be good. So my only complaint is they need to get the Star Trek cast from the last few movies and renegotiate their deals and get those actors to return, because those actors are known and they can sell a box office and they were good movies. Okay, so get J.J. Abrams, get Bad Robot, get the writers from Lost, and let's make another 3 of those Star Trek movies with the cast. Simon Pegg, a lot of those people are making the Mission Impossible movies. And they're making movies for Paramount already. I'm sure they can renegotiate deals. And you're like, oh, why is Star Trek so important? Because it's a worldwide brand. They can sell merchandise like anywhere off of Star Trek and people are going to recognize it. And look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk from SpaceX is always talking about Star Trek, right? So they have a really great IP that can compete with Star Wars, that could be even bigger than Star Wars. All right? And Star Trek used to have its own conventions. It used to have its own hotels when it ruled television. There was like a Star Trek hotel in Las Vegas called the Star Trek Experience. So if they treat Star Trek right, it could be bigger than Star Wars. So now the Warner Brothers sale, right? I hope Netflix buys Warner Brothers because I think they could do a lot with releasing the director's cut of Suicide Squad that we haven't seen. I think they could release the Batgirl movie, because I heard the Batgirl movie was good. And I think they would be able to put out some really good content from the DC universe through Netflix if Netflix ended up buying Warner Brothers. So I'm crossing my fingers that Netflix ends up buying Warner Brothers. The other one that is going for Warner Brothers is Comcast and Paramount. Warner Brothers has been really misrun by Discovery. They tried to take off HBO Max, right, and change the name. And HBO Max is a worldwide brand, right? Why strip the name off? And like whoever's buying Warner Brothers, Paramount wanted to buy HBO, and why shut down HBO Max, right? HBO Max is more popular than Paramount Plus, right? And that's because of the mismanagement from Paramount Plus. They haven't been putting out content. Look, I'm a huge fan of Mobland. Where is Mobland season 2? So this is what I'm saying. Paramount does not put out content. All right? Yeah, maybe they put out some Kevin Costner series, right? Of something about the Midwest or something. But I mean, they have some really big brands. As big as the Mission Impossible movies are, as big as the classic Mission Impossible TV series was, you would think Paramount Plus would put out a Mission Impossible show. But you know, Paramount Plus has been on for the past 5 years. No one thought to put out a Paramount Plus show. I mean, a Mission Impossible show, right? Or a special. And that's what I'm saying is that Paramount Plus does not put out content. All right? With big brands like Mission Impossible and Star Trek. And I'm sure there's a couple of other sci fi brands that they own that I'm not mentioning. So that's all. They haven't been putting out content. And Comcast, what has Comcast put out other than Jurassic World and Universal? And that's really Steven Spielberg making those movies. And Universal distributes them. So what have they been putting out? I feel like Disney is the one that they put out Predator Badlands. That's like the best movie I've seen this year. So and you have to ask yourself, why aren't these billion-dollar companies putting out content? You know? And it seems okay, they're buying each other up, but if they really wanted to make money with the IPs they already have, they could make money. All right? Just, watch my videos, and if you're this if you're the CEO to one of these companies, watch my videos. But I'm telling you, with the IPs like Universal, right? Jurassic World repeated the success of Star Wars. Right before the movie came out, there was a big merchandising push. People were going to the stores to buy these Jurassic World toys this year, right? But Disney did not do that with Tron or Predator. Now, Predator was great at the box office, but Tron was hurt at the box office. And the Tron movie, there's a lot of fans of Tron already, right? So the Tron toys do sell, right? But there was no Tron toys on the shelf. Now, Predator made money at the box office, but there was no Predator figures on the shelf. All right? So just keep this in mind. The people who are managing these IPs, you need people who really care about them, there's something called event merchandising, right? Whenever these movies come out in theaters, it's an event, right? For a lot of people. That's why they come out with popcorn buckets and everything. So remember, the toy market is like an over $30 billion global. Just in the US alone, the toy market is over $30 billion. So you have to ask yourself, you know, You got to take advantage of this. How come an IP like Star Trek doesn't have something on the shelves for their new shows or the new movies? And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I want to see Netflix buy uh, Warner Brothers. Hopefully, Netflix buys Warner Brothers.